Hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now, I'm really late on this one and I apologise. Before I get on to the video itself, big updates are coming to the channel, hence why this is so late. I've had a really down period lately, personal things at home, blah blah blah. So all the videos got shifted back. And between Christmas and New Year's, you guys are going to start to hear about a lot of the big updates that come to the channel. Because the new year, I want the channel to feel really fresh, really different. And I want it to just feel like there's a whole new lease of life and energy to it. I'm really pushing for that in a minute behind the scenes. There's loads of prep work going in, which I'm going to start revealing slowly between Christmas and New Year's. But that's why this video has been pushed back so late. I've been trying to catch up on all my other stuff. You know, we've had the 60th Doctor Who, blah, 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 blah. But here we are. Yes, we're going to crank out some videos over the next couple of weeks. End of the year stuff, we're going to do that early. Blu-ray hunting, Blu-ray collection, sorry, all of this. I know people anticipate that. We're going to be doing that early. We're going to be doing it this year, hopefully. That is the plan. So, there's a lot to look forward to over the next 3 weeks for the channel. I think there'll be even more to look forward to in the new year. But yeah, we're going to get through some videos first because we've got a couple that we need to finish off here. And this is one of them. So I'm going to shift here because if you haven't seen this video before, we're going to bring up some lovely movie posters here as I talk about them. Also, if you haven't seen this video before, these are just first-time watches throughout November for me. So we don't do rewatches and we don't do TV series, games or anything like that, blah, blah, blah. If you do want to follow what I'm watching, I have a Letterboxd account where I do vlog my rewatches. And then I've got my serialized for my TV. So yeah, I'm always talking about what I'm watching. Anyway, it's not been a super busy month for me, but still, let's crack on. The first film I watched was a really old one. It's Saps at Sea, a Laurel and Hardy movie. I never really have loads to say about these, and that's not in a negative way. It's just they all very much feel the same, Laurel and Hardy films in. It's just good humour, you know, Laurel and Hardy are just hilarious. I grew up with them, watching them with my granddad. And, yeah, there's just I like ones like this where, you know, they're out at sea, blah, blah, blah. They give them a lot more to do. There are some Laurel and Hardys where it's like, oh, they're just literally stuck in an apartment. So they sort of really run into the ground of ways to make these two look stupid. This one, they're in a better environment. There's a lot more they can do. So, yeah, this was one of the better ones. Not one of my very favourite things I've ever done. But I had a good time with this, you know. I thought it was a good movie. Got a lot of laughs at me. So yeah, I'll give this 7 out of 10. Petite Mama is the next one. This was very kindly sent to me by my good friend Sam for my birthday. This is a movie Blu-ray, French film. And funny enough, I've got a good friends out there, Chloe and George. I'm very doubtful they're watching this, but if they are, I remember Chloe saying to me that she hated this film. So I was really interested in watching this one. I quite liked it. I did. Although I was expecting a bit more, I'll be honest. Great director. And I think that this film, it had a lot of style to it. Some of the cinematography was gorgeous. The actual plot as well was really sweet. It was a nice little story to follow. I think for me, the issue with this one is pacing. The pacing is really off at points in this film. It has moments where it really tries to drive these characters forward emotionally through just the filmmaking style more than anything, I'd say at times. And then there are other moments where I think the film thinks it's still doing that, but it really just feels like it's dragging a lot. But I did enjoy this film. I'm also going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Then we have The Killer. Yeah, now I'm a big fan of David Fincher. I think he's a fantastic director. And of course, in this one, Michael Fassbender, who I think is great, and I thought he was great in this film. You know, it's a really interesting movie. I think the thing with The Killer is it's very simple plot, which you don't normally get from David Fincher. He really normally likes to dive into these plots more. But this one, it is really simple and grounded. But I think here, it is just so fascinating to watch this movie, how clean the film feels. One of my favourite parts is after the main character has assassinated someone, or, you know, he's done something, and watch him just clean up. It was like, this is weirdly satisfying. yeah, so along that, you get this really interesting movie where it's just shot and filmed so well. And you are constantly on the edge of your seat going, I do, I want to know what happens next. You want to see where this is going. And the film really goes to all extremes to show you what this man's life is like. And it's really interesting. I'm going to give this film 7.5 out of 10. We have The Marvels next. Yes, I reviewed this here in detail on the channel. Lovely poster, by the way. Lovely poster. Probably the best thing about the movie. Although, if you squint, it looks like Captain Marvel has really tiny legs on this poster. Yeah, The Marvels. I think this film's just okay. There's as much about it that I disliked to what I liked. There are some things I really did like. Kamala Khan, I thought, was fantastic. I thought the actress done a great job, but she did a really good job in the Miss Marvel show as well. I think all three of the main characters bounce off each other well. I think the other two actresses doing great as well. Brie Larson's a lot better in this one than she was in her previous movie. Sam Jackson, I enjoy in this film. He's funny, but his character feels so disjointed at this point because he's so serious in Civil War, and then here he's a clown. Yeah, the villain sucked. The villain was awful. The cat scene was terrible. Yeah, the pacing feels really rushed. Some of the CGI is a bit, standard. Yeah, it's just such a middle of the road film. It's not as bad as Ant-Man, I'll say that. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Westworld, the original Westworld. I am a huge, huge fan of the TV show. It's one of my favourite TV shows ever. I think the first season is like the best debut season for a show ever. And I really liked season 4, and I'm still so annoyed that they cancelled it before its final season. The bastards. Anyway, what did I think of the movie? I thought it was pretty good. You've got to take yourself back in time and realise when this came out. I was expecting a bit more of an interesting story. Maybe because the show spoiled me a bit. But I did dial my expectations back in that regard a bit. But, I think when the robots start to go bad, it's just basically one robot that chases this guy for like 10, 15 minutes. Like, it would have been nice to see what was going on in the rest of the park a bit. But the build-up to get there was cool, and I did really enjoy the film overall. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. TV show's better. Minority Report. Yeah. Spielberg, Tom Cruise. I thought this would be a winner for me. I didn't love it. The concept is great. And Colin Farrell is fantastic in it. I've got to mention that because that man's always good. I think the concept's really cool. But it just seems like this film burnt itself out of energy. And I genuinely feel like it's because the film's too long. And there are just parts of this movie where I was like, I think if they cut some of this out, cut some of this down, the film could have flowed a bit better. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I hate the filter they used on the movie. It looked really ugly at times. I think this was just a thing that was going on in the early 2000s, and Spielberg is a man who always likes to keep up with the times. And I respect him so much. I think he is probably the greatest director ever, or he's definitely top 5 for me. So I've got nothing but respect for the man. I think he's brilliant. But I just think this one here, maybe he fell into that, got a cool concept here. I'm going to try and make a blockbuster out of it. And I think it just hasn't aged particularly well. I don't think Tom Cruise is particularly amazing in this one either. I'll give this 6.5. Still liked it. Good film. Definitely appreciate it. But yeah, one of the weaker Spielberg films for me. Then we have The Wind Rises, which, of course, is a Studio Ghibli movie. I believe this was meant to be the last I'm not going to pronounce his name, so I'll butcher it. The famous director from Studio Ghibli, who made some of their absolute best, like Spirited Away. I believe this was meant to be his last film, but then, of course, he's got The Boy and the Heron coming out in a couple weeks here in the UK, which I'm so excited to see, by the way. Yeah, anyway, this film here was a beautiful movie. I absolutely loved this film. I thought everything about it just worked. The main character was just one of my favourite protagonists I've seen in a Studio Ghibli film. And the balance of this guy's passion for building planes and making planes, and tie that together with the love interest in this one and the love story, it just brought together this really grounded, really heartwarming movie that has some real good emotional beats to it. The animation is brilliant. Obviously, I'm listening to the English-speaking cast. And I think they all done a great job. Like, instantly got John Krasinski's voice in there. So many good performances in this one. The dialogue's brilliant. I thought this film was absolutely wonderful. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. We then have Focus. It's one of the few Margot Robbie films I haven't seen. And like most people on the planet, who doesn't love Margot Robbie, right? Yeah. There's many reasons to love that woman, but she, you know, fantastic actress. So I really have no shame in saying how much I love most of her movies. And of course, you know, she's on a high at the minute with Barbie, which I really enjoyed. Focus with, you know, we'll keep my wife's name out. You give him Mouth Smith. This film here, it could have been really interesting, but in terms of all of this, you know, I don't know what they call them, fraudsters, you know, sort of thing. It just does all the generic tropes, and you could just tell which way it was all going, and it got to the end of the film, and I just rolled my eyes so hard. I was like, this was just so average. They could have done so much with this as well. There's a bunch of good actors in it, and they just really half-assed it, to be honest. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Ocean Waves. This is the last Studio Ghibli movie I had to watch. And I've seen them all now. Yeah, this was a strange movie. There's like this, it's a bad bunch of high school kids. This guy, I don't know if he liked the girl. To be honest, it seems like he hated her. But it's about it's weird. It sort of shows, it's a coming of age film, I guess, showing him deciding whether or not he likes this girl or not, but the whole time she seems to just piss him off, and he still just does everything she wants. It's a strange movie. I think I connected with it a bit because I really like the animation, and I thought the characters, while they were making stupid decisions, were really well written, because the silly decisions were very natural to kids in secondary, high school, whatever they call it, in Japan. You know, and all around the world, you know, this that age bracket, that's, people make dumb decisions like that. So I thought, you know, they're annoying characters at times, but it works. It works for the story. But it weren't one of my favourites, I'll be honest. But, you know, I still enjoyed it enough. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Then we have My Octopus Teacher, which, yeah, this film here, I genuinely didn't know what this was about. I just saw award-winning documentary, and I thought, I'm hour and a half. I was like, I'm kind of in the mood for this. And I chucked this on, and some stuff I had going on at home at the time as well. This one broke me. I never thought I'd be in absolute tears over an octopus. This was just so interesting and so, like, enlightening. You know, you take a lot of things in the world for granted, I guess, and the octopus is, to me, just like, yeah, it's just a bottom feeding, you know, animal that lives in the ocean, you know. But then this documentary really paints how much they feel and how intelligent they are, and it is truly fascinating. And I've watched a lot of David Attenborough documentaries, so I knew that when a female octopus lays eggs, you know it's pretty much the end. But wow, when, you know, you get to the end of this documentary and you see that the octopus has laid the eggs, your heart sinks. And the lead guy in it, and it reflects on his relationship with his son throughout the movie. It's unbelievable. It sounds awful. Well, not awful. It sounds really weird, or like it be pretty plain. But watch it. It's incredible. 9 out of 10. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't think I reviewed this here on the channel. I honestly can't remember at this point. I like the first Hunger Games a fair bit. I think the second one's decent. I didn't like the Mockingjays. I thought they were terribly boring. This prequel, I had no high expectations for. I thought it was also going to be a bit like, nah. Turned out to be pretty good, to be fair. The first act, I really liked the build-up to the Hunger Games. I thought the casting for, like, the young Snow, President Snow, was really cool. The dynamics between him and a few other characters was great. You get to the Hunger Games part, it's really fun. I love how different it is to the 2 Hunger Games we've seen. Rachel Zegler done a great job. I know that the internet seems to hate her. I don't get it. I just think she's quite charming. And she was really good in this movie. She's got a great voice as well. By the way, the song she sings in this one, amazing. The third act, while I still enjoyed it, and I really did like the ending of this film, the third act does drag a little bit. I think it goes on a little bit too long. Could have been trimmed down a bit. But this was a nice surprise. This is my second favourite Hunger Games film now, after the first one. So, yeah, good job. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I really weren't expecting this one to be that good. The Neon Demon. Oh, the Neon Demon. Sorry. Demon? Yeah. I mean, I watched this one for Elle Fanning. I think she's a good actress. I've seen a few films for her, and I was like, this seems to be one that a lot of people talk about for her, and so I'll give it a watch, and I did. This is style over substance. That's all this film is. The plot is just nonsensical at times, and just irritating. Visually, it's great. The visuals on the film, the neon theme, you know, in the title there, great, loved it. The cinematography, gorgeous. Some of the costume designs and stuff, fantastic. But I just didn't care what was going on at all. The dialogue was really in your face at times. And yeah, just didn't connect with this one much at all. I'm going to give The Neon Demon a 4 out of 10. I think I was a bit kinder in my Letterboxd review, but I really just didn't care for this one, to be honest. The Haunting in Venice, the next of the Kenneth Branagh, nearly forgot the name, Agatha Christie novel adaptations. Look, these films are what they are. I had fun with the first one. The second one's fun once it gets going, but the first half with Gal Gadot is truly awful. This one, I think it might be the best of the three, but they're all like this for me. They're all on the same level. They're all what they are. I like this one because it's not too long. It just, you know, we get on with the murder. The murderer, I saw it coming near the end, but it's like, yeah, genuinely feel like it could be anyone. I like the creepy aspects that they go for in this one. I like the location. Yeah, I think it's probably my favourite of the three, but as I say, they're all like, I think I gave the first one a 5, I gave the second one a 5, I'll give this one a 5.5. There's really not much in it. They're all on the same level for me. They're enjoyable, they're fine, but I don't care about any of them. Then we have Thanksgiving. This was one that my friends wanted to see in cinema, and obviously I have the unlimited card, so I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I'm a little bit scared to rewatch these two latest Scream films because of this, because this is by the same team that make the Scream films, I believe. It has that exact same humour, and it's a slasher film. And to be honest, the humour got on my nerves in this one, and I'm starting to think, oh, if I rewatch Scream 5 and 6... am I going to get annoyed with the humour? Because it's really annoying me in this one. No one seemed scared, and none of the horror felt real. There's like a supermarket scene at the start, and while it was fun, yeah, it just felt so ridiculous that I was like, yeah, I'm not buying this, to be honest. The killer was creepy and cool, but I guess the killer, like, literally about a third of the way in the film, I think. And the ending just was like so bland. The kills were bland. I don't know, I just really didn't vibe with this film, and a lot of my mates did, so I sort of had to keep my mouth shut when we walked out the cinema. I didn't want to be that downer. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I just really didn't connect with this one. And I'm nervous to go back and watch the Scream films one day. And then we got The Kill Room. This is going to be quick because wow, this was boring. Art is something that doesn't appeal to me, especially when you listen to artists talk about slaps of paint on a canvas. I don't get it. I know some people appreciate it. I don't. I never will. And this film's all about that. Or there's loads of talk like that. I thought Sam Jackson would play a bigger part in it. He's not in it much. They just market it like he is. I don't even know what to say about this film. It's just boring. 3.5. Dragons Forever is next up. This was very kindly sent to me for my birthday by Mr. Anthony Fisher. One of my first proper Jackie Chan films. I've got a couple more to watch, actually. I bought a couple box sets over Black Friday, which I'll be showing in a video over the next week or two. Or it'll be in the Blu-ray collection video. You'll see at some point in the next month. Yeah, this was really cool. I loved the characters in this. I loved the relationships. There were some really funny moments. And the choreography was brilliant. It was brilliant. It reminded me of those Bruce Lee films that I watched earlier this year. Really fun, really energetic, and yeah, I just thought it was really good, entertaining stuff. 7 out of 10. We got Leo, the new Netflix Adam Sandler movie. I know this is for kids, but yeah, I mean, Adam Sandler's fun in it. You know, he's proper in his dad era at the minute, isn't he? With films like this, and you know, You're So Not Going to My Bar Mitzvah, I think it was called. And he had another one earlier this year, I believe, where he's playing like a proper dad in it. Oh, Murder Mystery, you know, and it suits him really well. His singing ain't great. He sounds like a bad Bob Dylan. Yeah, the animation isn't very good, but I can imagine this probably didn't have the biggest of budgets anyway. The story's like, I know it's a kids film. I feel bad when I rag on these kids films like this, but there are really good kids films out there, like most of the Pixar ones and stuff. So then when you go and watch something like this, it's like, this does feel lazy. It's not awful. I'm going to be a bit kind. 4 out of 10. And then the final film I have to talk about is, shockingly, Chicken Run. I've never seen Chicken Run. I mean, I might have when I was really young, but I don't remember it at all. And my good friend Owen has just worked on the new Chicken Run that's coming out this week or next week. And I want to watch that for him. So yeah, I better watch the first Chicken Run. And I love stop motion. I love that. And yeah, you know, it's a very self-aware movie. There's a lot of good humour in it. And the voice work in it is all fantastic as well. I know a lot of the voice cast aren't returning for the new one, so I'll be interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, you know, I had a fun time with this. It was good, didn't blow me away. 7 out of 10. Now I got to pick my film of the month, and for me, it's going to be The Wind Rises. Yeah, this was just such a magical Ghibli film, and because of this, I'm even more excited to see The Boy and the Heron. Yeah, I just think Studio Ghibli have really become one of my favourite, film studios ever. Absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen this, if you haven't seen any of their films, then change that, get on it. They make some of the best movies ever. I think out of the 25 or so films I've seen from them, I think I've only seen 2. I just wasn't like, yeah, they were kind of bad. But everything else was like, yeah, that was either good or amazing. They're really, really consistent for the most part. Don't know what happened with Earwig and the Witch last year. Or the year before, whenever it came out. But yeah, hopefully a massive return to form with the new one. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching as always. Apologies about the lighting. It's got a lot darker throughout the filming of this video. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching as always. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.